Welcome Year 7 to this introduction to the basics of spreadsheets. Now hopefully in primary school you've explored using spreadsheets, perhaps using a spreadsheet to put survey information into tables or draw simple charts. They're often used for basic number crunching in jobs, but can also be used to analyse data, run quizzes, create simulations. Spreadsheets are the second most common business application behind databases. Spreadsheets are officially what's called a modelling application, which means that it's used to represent things in real life. Just like a model railway models a real railway but on a smaller scale, spreadsheet models allow you to represent things in real life, then use the model to explore the situation, make forecasts, ask what-if questions. Spreadsheet models use formulas and basic programming, so it's of interest to computer scientists. You'll recognise a spreadsheet by its rectangular boxes. These are called cells, and each cell works a bit like its own calculator. Each cell can either hold a bit of text or a number, and it can be programmed with formulas to combine, process, calculate values held in other cells. Each cell has an address or location, often called a cell reference, which works a bit like coordinates in maths, the horizontal position and the vertical position, but there are two important differences. First, the horizontal column reference is a letter rather than a number. You'll see the columns are labelled across the top with A, B, C and so on. The rows down the left are numbers, but the cell reference is just a letter followed by the number. So this one is cell A3 and this one is cell D7. As we said, you can enter text into the cells, but we often have text labels to help us understand the sheet, like this. Numbers can be entered into the cells, but if the numbers are too big for the cell, you'll see the crisscross hash symbol appearing lots and lots of times to indicate the cell is too narrow for the number inside to be seen. You can change the width of a column though by dragging the edge of the column heading like this. That's better. Row heights operate the same way, and you can multi-select a bunch of rows or columns and set the size for all of them at the same time by changing one of the ones selected. It's always good to make spreadsheets look nice, and we have a lot of the same basic formatting options for cells as you would see for text in a word processor. We can make headings here bold as well as italic and colour in the background and the text colour. Borders can also be selected. In this case, I can set the borders between all the cells and also the borders around the outside separately. Finally, let's try out a formula. Now, formulas are easy to create as long as you know what you actually want to do. Now, in this case, I'm going to add the first two numbers and then divide the result by the third. The trick is to think, what would you do with the numbers if you were just going to do the calculation using a calculator? Now, I would type the first number, then add plus, then the second number, put that addition into brackets, and then divide the result by a third number. Finally, I'd press the equals to get the answer. Now for a spreadsheet formula, it's just the same, but with the two important changes. First, we start the formula with an equals. This tells the spreadsheet to expect a formula. Second, instead of typing the numbers, we simply click on the cell or type its cell reference. This way, whatever's in those cells will be calculated. That's the basics of using a spreadsheet, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more you can do.